Drive Knight vs Demon Cyborg Genos. These two cyborgs are very similar in so many ways, both being S-class heroes who participated in major fights against top-tier monsters, and due to their similarities, people started to wonder who would win if they both fought. And this is one of the fights that I highly think it's doomed to happen due to the whole Mad Cyborg story. So who wins this fight and who do you think got the upper hand? But before, as usual, please do not forget to machine gun below the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more of these One Punch Man videos. Thank you. Drive Knight is the Batman of One Punch Man. He is an S-class hero rank 9, said to have never lost a battle in his life. His fighting style can be considered as nothing but impressive. Uses different kinds of transformations that are named after pieces used in traditional Japanese board game shogi. And obviously each transformation has a different set of skills, as it appeared in his first showing against 10 tiger level monsters who he easily blitzed and defeated. Against them he used Knight transformation that I would say grants him speed and mobility. He then after uses Silver transformation, and that grants him the use of a sword in the place of his hands and decapitates the remaining monsters before they can even react. But I would say his most impressive feat is actually defeating a dragon level monster and a cadre called Neon. Let me put this into perspective for you guys to understand how impressive this feat is. Not many heroes can face a cadre one-on-one, let alone defeat them, as there was a chapter specifically explains how these monsters are above S-class heroes in general sense. Drive Knight defeated Neon without much of a trouble. However, he specifically stated that he's capable of doing that due to the strategy he came up with due to prep time after observing Neon fighting the other heroes from afar. In this fight, Drive Knight used multiple transformations. First he used Lance, or by other translation, Chariot transformation. With this, he turns into a vehicle that is capable of producing toxic gas alongside with acid. This made Neon incapable of escaping underground. He goes after to legit counter a point-blank attack from Neon with his Knight transformation. This goes to show how fast Drive Knight can transform from one form to another, and this was showcased even more in his next move where he literally transformed from Knight to Flying Chariot to obviously fly, and then he goes from that to Bishop to punch Neon in the ground in literally an instant. This also happens later in the story where he changed from different forms multiple times in his chase of Psycho Orochi. Now the Bishop form was shown to be durable enough to withstand multiple missiles and energy beams from the Psycho Orochi jet form. However, I would say his last transformation against Neon, named Gold, was the most impressive during the fight, where he tanks Neon's attack multiple times alongside Feline Retribution that is considered to be Neon's strongest attack so far with little to no scratch. In addition to that, as stated by Drive Knight, this form not only temporarily boosts his basic functions such as strength and defense alongside with the ability to detect Neon's movements despite being extremely fast, but it also packs a great amount of heat that resulted into burning Neon alive with such vast explosive firepower. Drive Knight also shows the ability to use two transformations at once, as he was capable of using Silver to transform his hand into a sword while still using the Gold form. He also has the ability to take energy from different sources, as he later legit takes energy from Genos himself due to running low on that. And this is one of his downsides. His battery drains quickly the more power he uses, as evident against Neon, but he compensates for that by gathering intellect and being extremely versatile. Genos is currently an S-class hero rank 14. He's a cyborg who has many losses in his resume but keeps on improving and becoming stronger every day. He has been a great asset in the Monster Association arc, especially against Psycho Orochi, so much so that most fans are putting him in the conversation of the top 5 heroes in the association. While Genos had so many forms and upgrades during the story. However, the most relevant forms are the latest two, the Daedric form, or some would say Dragon Genos form, and the other is the Lightning Core upgrade. With the Daedric upgrade, Genos was shown to be capable of matching Psycho Orochi's beam for a brief time. This beam is obviously a slightly weaker version of the one she used to split a continent, and that's due to her being weakened from Tatsumaki's attacks. But Genos not only stopped her attack, but was fairly relative enough to continue fighting alongside Tatsumaki. Genos has stated that his ultimate weapon can pulverize a massive meteor in one shot. That's the same meteor he struggled against in a prior arc, which was given the threat level Dragon, and said to be capable of destroying City Z alongside with the surrounding towns. And Genos stated he already threw 5 of these blasts and later on throw in an attack that is even stronger. The obvious downside of this power-up is that it only lasts for 10 full seconds. However, that time frame in One Punch Man seems to be hell of a lot, since Genos, even after protecting Tatsumaki, he goes after to chase Psycho Orochi, and impressively reaching first, even when Drive Knight had a head start. He also tanks a beam from Psycho Orochi that was meant to kill Tatsumaki. Genos after goes to exceed the 10-second frame to fuse with Drive Knight. That later resulted into almost getting destroyed and was saved by none other than the waifu, Fubuki. Now Genos' next role was to provide assistance and become a shield to protect Tatsumaki. Without the 10 seconds blue dragon form, Genos can barely hang in the face of the cadres, only to be protected and saved by Silva Fang, commenting that he is not strong enough to assist them properly against these powerhouses. However, even in this weakened state, Genos was shown to be capable of withstanding hits thrown by Black Ass. However, he gets outmatched by the sheer numbers of that twisted individual. Still was fixated in protecting Tatsumaki till his last breath. Now Genos' next form has two feats that are very impressive. One where he easily defeated a dragon level threat named Forest King, stating that now he could battle a dragon level monster, indicating that before he really couldn't. However, I'd say that the Forest King is a worse matchup for Genos, as Genos packs enough firepower to burn him up, as fire seems to be his weakness. But nonetheless, he still defeated a dragon level threat implied to be without so much of effort. And the second feat is where he performs a punch against Saitama that has the same after effect of when Saitama attempted to punch Genos in the prior arcs. This shows that this form not only boosted his firepower but speed and strength in general, making Genos now a worthy adversary against anyone. Alright, so let me go ahead and say that this is a pretty tough one to scale, and I think even provided with the feats, there are no factual evidence that shows one is stronger than the other. But I think that Drive Knight's method of fighting revolves around gathering data beforehand. We've never seen him take on a stronger opponent without doing so, as Drive Knight himself has stated that he would have never landed a death blow against Neon if he didn't gather enough data beforehand. But that doesn't mean any other character could do the same provided with prep time. Drive Knight is super versatile and has all answers regarding defeating Neon. The sole reason I'm mentioning this is that we know that Drive Knight now has witnessed what Dragon Genos can do at full power, and most likely could build up a strategy to defeat Genos. However, this argument still has cracks on it. If we go by this logic, then provided with prep time, Drive Knight can basically defeat any monster or character he faces. That's obviously not true, as I would presume there are characters who even with prep time he would never hope to defeat. I would never see him defeating Platinum S, for example, even if he prepared for it in a 1v1 fight. So is 10-second Genos one of those characters? Let me go ahead and say that Blue Dragon Genos is without a doubt one of the strongest heroes in the series, but I see a lot of people overestimating him to Psycho Orochi or Tatsumaki's level, where both of them were extremely weakened in so many regards. Genos would never hope to compete against them in a fair 1v1 fight. However, both Genos and Drive Knight were shown to be capable of somehow reacting to Psycho Orochi. And as I said before, when it comes to versatility, Drive Knight is leagues better than Genos. So in other words, if Drive Knight had prep time and built up a strategy against Genos, provided he could still be relative to him, alongside of how versatile he is, he would be capable of defeating Genos. And let's not forget the other factors that would give Drive Knight the advantage regarding this matchup, such as absorbing energy from Genos himself and using it against him during the fight, alongside with the fact of him being capable of absorbing energy from the city itself. This matchup could be different provided the place they're fighting in, but I would go ahead and say that Genos obviously packs more firepower, and if one of his piercing lightning cannon would connect into Drive Knight, even with the gold or the bishop form, I don't see him tanking that caliber of an attack. Still, I see him dodging it with Flying Chariot, as with that form he was shown being capable of trading hits with Psycho Orochi in her weakened state, and also fighting a cadre who his specialty is speed. Now, it's safe to assume that Genos without the 10-second boosts would lose to prep time Drive Knight, as he himself admitted that he cannot take on a dragon level threat, while Drive Knight with prep time took care of one. But what about current Genos? I personally believe that Lightning Core Genos is definitely on another league compared to his previous form. If Drive Knight encounters Genos now and is forced to fight him without prep time, I legit think he would fairly lose. While you might say that Drive Knight can think of a strategy during the fight, it's also important to remember that we've never seen him do that. hence his quote saying he would have never been able to land a death blow on Neon. And if we think Dragon Genos is relative to Drive Knight when it comes to speed, Lightning Core Genos seems to be faster than that, and also much stronger, as one of his punches literally replicated what Saitama has done in the early chapters. So to sum up this whole thing, I believe that Lightning Core Genos is more than capable of defeating the Drive Knight we've seen, but I speculate that the next time we see Drive Knight, he'd be stronger than the one we've seen due to upgrades that he would get from dissecting Neon, not to mention the fact that we may have not seen every transformation and combination he could do. There are no factual evidence that proves one is stronger than the other, and Drive Knight could be hiding his true strength, but now I'm led to believe that without prep time, he would definitely lose to Genos. However, if he gathers enough data on Lightning Core Genos alongside with him getting boosted, I believe he would have a chance against him. But right now, I would pick Genos to win, simply for the fact that now he could take on a dragon level monster by himself without prep time or nothing, and Drive Knight needs prep time in order to do that. Alright guys, let me know if you want more content of One Punch Man that is not related to matchups, and thank you for watching. Peace. And as I said before, much stronger, as one of his punches literally replicated.